and welcome to Fantastic History. I'm Clay.
I'm Sarah.
We are a husband and wife duo who enjoy telling each other about amazing events, people, and mysteries throughout history. Sarah, I got a story that's right up your alley.
Great. Love that.
Yeah. So we're going to go back to March 20th, 1995, when members of the doomsday cult Shinrikyo carried out the deadliest terrorist attack in modern Japan by releasing a biochemical weapon into subway cars during the morning rush hour.
I'm sorry. I love that this was like, hey, this is right up your alley. Terrorism.
Yeah, it is, right?
Wow. I mean, you had me at 1995.
Well,
you lost me at the daily commute.
Yeah, I suppose so.
Yeah.
Well, this attack killed 13 people and injured as many as 6,000.
What?
The culprits believed that the world was ending and that their leader was the reincarnated Buddha and the second coming of Christ.
Whoa.
So how were these young, educated, and intelligent people convinced to follow this man and carry out this attack?
How?
Well, I'm going to tell you.
Oh, good. Okay, great.
Yeah.
This is another one of those unsolved episodes that you love so much.
I haven't done one of those in a very long time.
Because I was so mad last time.
It's true. So we're going to go back to the beginning, and this actually starts way back in 1945.
Oh, wow.
In the aftermath of World War II, the Allied powers ordered the Japanese government to embrace freedom of religion and separation of church and state.
Sure.
And this had many implications, but the relevant one to this story is that all religious groups were given tax-exempt statuses, like they are in the U.S.
Sure.
This allowed many fake religious organizations to emerge, only to act like kind of like as tax shelters.
Oh, yeah.
But some were founded by true believers, such as the case of Shinrikyo's founder, Shoko Asahara.
Okay.
Asahara was born as Chizo Matsumoto on March 2nd, 1955, with infantile glaucoma, which left him blind in his left eye and partially blind in his right.
I didn't even know that was a thing.
Apparently it is.
That's
because
awful.
I really didn't either.
Oh my God.
So he was the fourth of 7 children in a poor household and was sent off to a school for the blind. During his school years, he was described as someone who would listen and often show concern for others, but was also a bully and was violent.
Weird.
But he was special in that he had some eyesight. He could see a little bit, whereas most of his I almost said colleagues, most of his classmates were completely blind, right?
Mm-hmm.
So this allowed him to earn a little bit of money by taking his classmates to stores and shops, right?
Okay.
Because he could find his way around, whereas they had a harder time.
Right.
He was obsessed with becoming rich and powerful.
Same.
Something his teachers specifically remember about him.
Mm-hmm.
And it made sense coming from that sort of upbringing, right?
Well, and I mean, you're born feeling powerless. Like this very basic thing that most people, like the vast majority of people, are born with. You're not.
There's that, and growing up poor.
Oh, yeah. That'll do it.
Being sent off to school. I mean,
right.
You know. Well, he graduated in 1975, and then he moved to Tokyo, and he got married, and he opened up what I guess you could consider like a pharmacy or a health store, but he was selling like herbal medicines and tonics.
Okay.
But in 1982, he was arrested for selling fake medicine because this was not like a real pharmacy. This was like ancient remedies and snake oil, stuff like that.
Sure.
And he was operating a pharmacy without a license.
Oh, you can't do that.
So he got caught. Now, after this, supposedly he became more religious, began practicing a wide range of concepts like Chinese astrology, Taoism, esoteric Buddhism, and esoteric Christianity.
Interesting.
Yeah, like everything, right? And this is when he began to grow out his signature beard. And if you take a look at him, one of the first things you'll notice is that he his eyes are almost closed because he's blind.
Mm-hmm.
So he's got closed eyes and a big beard.
Okay. Like Paimei big beard or
No,
like bushy?
Bushy beard.
Okay.
Yeah, big bushy beard. We'll put a picture up on somewhere.
Well, sure.
And this is around the time that he changed his name to Shoko Asahara. He began taking pilgrimages to India, where he met religious figures such as the Dalai Lama.
Okay.
He also claimed that he achieved enlightenment around this time.
Great.
And met a deity. I don't know if it was Shiva or what, because he had claimed to be, studying all sorts of religions at the time. But apparently this deity told him that he would preach the true religion and lead his followers through the final war that would end the world.
Great.
Shinrikyo was formed in 1987 as a yoga and meditation class.
Now. Okay, great. Yep. I guess all religions start somewhere.
As all good things do. But it quickly became more. Asahara had charisma, and he had a knack for publicity. He would target young graduates from elite universities and promising them enlightenment and purpose.
Okay.
He would share photos of himself levitating and of him meeting religious figures like the Dalai Lama, who later would say, "Yeah, I barely remember meeting this person."
Uh-huh.
But, if you got a picture with someone, that gives you some credibility.
I mean, Keith, the horrible guy that led the Nexium cult, also met with the Dalai Lama.
Yeah.
So, it sounds really prestigious, but the Dalai Lama also meets a lot of crackpots.
Yeah.
And no, that is not meant to be shade against the Dalai Lama. I'm just saying a lot of people make it past the goalie on that one.
You can shake your hand with anybody.
Yeah, right.
You don't know.
Yeah.
The group would also distribute comics and anime to attract followers.
Sure.
And they claimed to be able to heal illnesses, help people find their life's purpose, and become intelligent and powerful.
Okay.
All these things that, people are looking for.
Yeah.
These were all highly attractive to people who are stuck in the drudge and the monotony of life, especially young and talented people who are seeking meaning and power,
Oh, yeah.
Shinrikyo became an official religion in 1989, and it was growing fast.
Wow.
Small communities began popping up of members who had renounced their families, their money, and even their own identity.
Cult.
Yeah. Rumors spread by the late 80s that the members of were being abused, given drugs, and locked into small rooms for days at a time.
Great.
The tests that Asahara had designed for his flock was intended to weed out all but those who were so devoted that they would endure torture for their leader.
No, it's not. No.
And worse, they would kill.
Uh-oh.
Without question.
Uh-oh.
The justification was that the only way to rid people of their bad karma was for one of Alm's members to kill them.
Oh.
Alm's first kill was one of their own who was threatening to leave and tell the outside world of the cult.
Oh, Scientology.
A lot of similarities.
Great.
Yeah, but instead of science fiction, it's like, New Age Buddhism, maybe Old Age Buddhism. I don't know exactly. It's kind of complicated to nail down what they were being taught.
Yeah.
But soon Asahara had informed his flock that their duty was to cleanse the world through death and usher in the apocalypse, which only they would survive.
So, what is his goal with this?
I think his goal, well, I don't know, because on one hand, you could say his goal was power, because he was taking these people's money, like their entire net worth, and putting it towards this religion of which he was the leader of, so he was getting Lots of money, lots of power.
No taxes.
No taxes. But, it's also hard to tell if he was... At one point, was he in it for money and prestige?
Mm-hmm.
Or was he always in it because he was a true believer? Or did he start off wanting the money and the power and slowly became convinced that he was the reincarnated Christ? Or where's that line? I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't really know where it is. But maybe that's something that our listeners can inform us about.
Sure.
Their next murder came in October 1989 after the members were shown a video of a lawyer filing a class action lawsuit against the cult. And the interview was with a news organization, and they were given I don't know if it was someone in the news organization snuck it out and showed it to them illegally. Oh. Maybe it was one of the cult members, or maybe the news organization was afraid of the cult and wanted to show them this stuff before. I think it was illegal though, because I think it violated keeping sources under wraps.
Okay.
I don't exactly know how they were given this information ahead of the release of the story, but I think there was some shady business going on with that. His name was Tatsumi Sakamoto. I'm going to get a lot of these names wrong. Tatsumi Sakamoto was this lawyer who was filing this class action lawsuit against
Mm-hmm.
Well, he was asleep at home with his wife, Satoko, and 14-month-old daughter, Tachihiko.
Nope.
When members of the cult entered their apartment and killed all three of them.
Why you gotta kill a baby?
They were completely gone.
But, what is the justification for killing the baby? That's what I mean. That's crazy.
They were convinced. I mean, the craziest thing you can convince people is that you are doing them a favor by killing them.
True.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, yeah. The truth of the murder of these three people were not fully known until after the subway terrorist attack.
Wow.
By the way.
Wow.
In the following years, their targets for assassination grew to people publicly critical and satirizing the cult.
Oh, God.
But their main goal was a massive terrorist attack. This is why Asahara wanted intelligent and well-educated followers. They would be in positions to be able to access the material they needed for such a large-scale attack. So their first attempt was a widespread anthrax attack in 1993.
Oh, boy.
But this failed because they tried to spread it into the air.
Oh.
As anthrax is more dangerous in concentrated and close exposure. So that didn't really work out. Their next plan was to manufacture a large amount of sarin. So sarin is a nerve agent.
Uh-oh.
That was created by German scientists in 1939. And when in a gas form, it can kill within minutes or cause permanent neurological damage. This time, they tested their homemade sarin gas on livestock at one of their compounds in Australia, and it killed 29 sheep.
Oh, dude.
Yeah.
Those sheep did not have bad karma. You can't justify that.
I guess not.
Ugh.
They're hypocrites. What? I can't believe this is their twist. On June 27th, 1994, Alm used a modified truck to release sarin gas towards the homes of lawyers who were involved in a lawsuit against the cult. So inside this truck, picture, an ice cream truck. They had 30 liters of liquid sarin, which was heated and vaporized, and then blown out vents on the side of the truck. Very inconspicuous from the outside.
Sure.
For 20 minutes, the deadly gas blew out of the truck aimed at the apartment building, but a light wind blew the sarin away from the homes.
Oh, my God.
And into a residential neighborhood.
Uh-oh.
The gas entered homes through open windows, air conditioning units, whatever. This would be known as the Matsumoto incident. From this accidental attack, like they weren't even aiming for these people. 8 people were killed and 500 were injured.
What?
Yeah. So
my God.
So the authorities had no idea that Alm was involved.
Right.
And they wouldn't until after the subway attack.
Oh, boy.
So even though the assassination attempt didn't really work out, the power of this deadly nerve agent was understood. Asahara instructed his chemists to produce sarin and another nerve agent called VX for widespread terrorist attacks. In the following year, the group would use chemical attacks to carry out more assassination attempts, and some of them were successful, some not so much. Their membership would climb, and their net worth would skyrocket. They had members in the police, the military, and the government, but they were not invincible. In early 1995, residents near one of the compounds that was producing sarin complained of nauseating smells. Wonder what that could be. Police took soil samples and found traces of compounds that were used in the production of the nerve gas. Since this was found so close to a known apocalyptic death cult, it raised some alarms.
Yeah, I bet it would.
But Alm had members inside the police force to alert them that, they were suspicious. And high-ranking members ordered the destruction of these nerve agent stockpiles that they had been producing and that their laboratories be hid.
Okay.
Then a man was abducted. They abducted a man whose sister was a former member. And during this abduction, a bystander noticed the abductor's car license plate.
Oh.
And this was tracked to an Alm member, which, along with the soil samples that were found earlier, was creating more heat on the organization.
Sure.
Than ever before. So this led to Asahara realizing that he had to act quick, because it could be that their compounds would be raided. They would find some stuff, and then their whole operation would be shut down. On March 22nd, he ordered his leaders, including chemists and genetic engineers, to produce as much sarin as possible for an attack in 2 days.
Oh my God.
So their 2 names are very difficult to pronounce, and I'm very bad at Japanese. But one of them is named Masumi, and the other is Saichi.
Okay.
That's about all I can say.
You're doing your best.
But remember those. Due to the destruction of much of their production equipment, and they had already done away with their stockpiles of sarin, right? Mm-hmm. So they had to produce as much as they could in 2 days. And the men were able to produce approximately 30 kilograms of sarin, but it was a much lower quality.
Sure.
Than they had used in the deadly Matsumoto attack. But Monday, March 20th comes along. 5 members enter the Tokyo subway, which is the busiest subway system in the world.
Oh, yeah.
During the morning rush hour. Each man carried plastic bags of liquid sarin wrapped in newspapers. And each man was assigned to go onto a subway car, puncture the bags with a sharp-tipped umbrella, and then leave the train car to leave the leaking sarin inside.
Okay, so this is not like a suicide mission.
No.
Interesting.
In fact, they were given an antidote.
Oh, wow.
So that they could survive if they found themselves getting sick, right?
Right. Great.
And each man was assigned a different train to carry out their attack. So it wouldn't just be like one train, it'd be multiple.
Oh, my God.
Although the sarin was not released in a gas form, it would evaporate very quickly, creating a short but very quick and dangerous threat on unsuspecting passengers.
That's fucked up.
Yeah, man. Passengers began to report difficulty breathing and vision problems, and windows were opened, and panic was setting in as breathing became more laborious and painful inside the cramped subway cars. At the following stops, passengers would either exit or have to be carried out, while subway workers had to determine what happened. Mm-hmm. Some subway workers removed the sarin-soaked bags, not knowing what they were exactly, and they later would die.
Of course.
Other subway officials did not know the full extent of the situation, and they continued on their route until they reached the end of the line so that the cars could be cleaned.
Oh, no.
The total number of those injured is difficult to verify because many who were affected didn't know what happened until they saw the news.
Oh, sure.
And maybe their injuries had already passed because they were just lightly injured, or they were just reluctant to come forward.
Right.
But it's suspected that upwards of 6,000 people were injured by the attacks.
Oh, my God.
Over 5,000 people arrived at the hospitals that day.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. But many were determined to only be experiencing mass hysteria.
Hey!
Yeah. The discovery that the injuries were caused by sarin was realized within a couple of hours, after which the hospitals began administering the appropriate antidotes. But the attacks did kill 13 people, and dozens were left permanently disabled.
Oh my God.
Following the attack, police raided Shinrikyo facilities and found weapons, explosive chemical weapons, hidden laboratories, and more. Members were also arrested, but it took a couple of months before Asahara himself was found hiding inside a wall of one of his complexes.
Oh, wow. Great.
Didn't sound very comfortable.
No, it does not.
He faced 27 counts of murder for masterminding the subway attack, the Matsumoto attack, and the murder of the Sakamoto family.
Wow.
In 2004, he was found guilty of 13 of those charges and sentenced to death.
Good.
After many years of appeals, he and 6 other senior cult members, including Masumi and Senshi, were executed by hanging on July 6th, 2018.
That is crazy. Y'all are hanging people in 2018?
Yeah, they don't mess around in Japan.
Wow. Wow.
A couple of weeks, well, we don't mess around here in the United States. We also had like death by firing squad recently. A couple of weeks later, 6 more members were executed by hanging for their involvement in carrying out the Tokyo subway attack.
Wow.
So, Shinrikyo, after this, they changed their name.
Sure.
To Aleph, and underwent a doctrine change after the arrest of their god.
Probably a good idea.
I'm not entirely sure why they still exist, but they do.
There are still members of the Heaven's Gate cult, like active members who didn't die on that day.
That's true.
Who still believe that Marshall Applewhite is on the Hale-Bopp comet.
Yeah, I mean you can't prove him wrong.
True.
That's the thing.
That is a very good point.
Yeah, that's the crazy thing about it. That's the story of the deadliest terrorist attack in modern Japan and the doomsday cult that perpetrated it.
That's messed up.
And the craziest thing, it didn't even bring about the apocalypse.
You know what? That's a really good point. I forgot that was part of this.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I guess it was the end of the world for that guy.
Yeah.
He is quite dead.
But it took him like 20 years to be executed.
That is the appeals process.
That's crazy.
That's pretty normal.
Well, there you have it, folks. Hope you enjoyed this episode. Crazy stuff. If you have other crazy ideas, stories that you would like for us to cover on this podcast, you can email us at fantastichistorypod@gmail.com. We're also we're slow, but we're working on adding more stuff to TikTok and YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
It's tough when you have a kid and a full-time job and you're old and tired.
Yep.
But we're going to do our best. You can find us there at Fantastic History Podcast. And we are on Instagram and Threads at FantasticHPod.
Whoop, whoop.
And if you have the opportunity, please leave us a review and a rating. It does help a ton.
It really does.
That'd be awesome. All right. Until next week.
Bye-bye.